me.
How would you like it if she was your mom? Well, it doesn't matter what we think because Debbie Rowe wants her kids. Is it just me, or is everything surrounding Michael Jackson's death twisted? People are actually scalping tickets to go and watch the memorial service. Forgive me, Father, I have sinned. And here is living proof. When women speak, men zone out. You're not listening to me, but you think you would in Parliament. Well, getting to see Michael Jackson perform live was always the hottest ticket in town. Here in Los Angeles, where everything is bigger than life, even death, his memorial service is the hottest ticket in town. How absurd is that? Over 1.5 million people registered for less than 9,000 tickets to go to Staples or the Nokia Theater to see the memorial. This morning, people were actually celebrating when they were picking up their tickets and wristbands. Some were celebrating because they were planning on scalping the tickets and making money. Not everybody seems to be as caught up with all of this. So here is New York Congressman Peter King.
So what we hear about is Michael Jackson. And let's knock out the psychobabble. This guy was a pervert. He was a child molester. He was a pedophile. And to be giving this much coverage to him day in and day out, what does it say about us as our country? I just think it's we're too politically correct. No one wants to stand up and say, we don't need Michael Jackson.
Well, that's his opinion, and right now everybody's got one. Joining us are contributors. Radio talk show host and civil rights attorney Leo Terrell, and former editor of the LA Daily News, Ron Kaye. Ron, we'll start with you. Your thoughts on the congressman's comments. Was he out of bounds?
Well, of course he's out of bounds, but he's got his right to make his opinion. The guy is certainly believed to have been a child molester. He's totally a freak show and has been for a long time. He's also a cultural icon to a whole generation. And his words, his ideas are part of that conversation while we try to figure out the mystery of Michael Jackson and all that he means in our culture over the last 40 years.
Fred, Peter King, here's the dirty little secret. Peter King is running for U.S. Senate in New York in a couple of years. So he's criticizing the same person, Michael Jackson, and at the same time utilizing the Michael Jackson controversy to bolster his name recognition. It's sort of sad that he's going to use Jackson as an example. First of all, Michael Jackson was never convicted of a crime. Michael Jackson had demons. Michael Jackson was strange. Michael Jackson is a talented person. But for Peter King to use Michael Jackson to get national name recognition for his 15 minutes of fame, it's not going to work. Mr. King, you're not going to win the U.S. Senate seat for New York in 2 years.
Come on, Leo, you know that he's voicing what a lot of people feel, whether it's righteous or not, and it's certainly part of the conversation.
Hey, Ron, he's using the same system. He's attacking the media for the Michael Jackson coverage. So what does he do? He uses the Michael Jackson coverage to bolster his political future.
Guys,
but the whole media has been part of this circus. I mean, we've canceled the greatest show on earth for 2 days in order to have this circus of Michael Jackson.
It's not a circus.
And millions of people around the world are tuned in, and the media is in a frenzy.
But Leo, Ron, let me ask you this, because I think you have a good point here, Ron. Has this thing just gone too far? Is it too far out of bounds at this point?
Well, I think it's totally out of control. It's been building for a generation. The media... I mean, you watch TMZ, you watch all of us. We're all into this. I worked at the National Enquirer 30 years ago. We've been feeding this frenzy of celebrity and sickness a long time.
The situation is this. The public, not just this country, all over the world, for 30 to 40 years, Michael Jackson has made an impact on people throughout the world. You can't take away their emotions or their feelings or their love for this man. He is a international figure, and because people are interested, they should not be punished. The media is covering the interest based on worldwide attention.
All right, guys, let's move on now. Let's go to the question of Michael Jackson's kids, if we can. As Will stipulates, his mother gets them. Second choice is Diana Ross. Debbie Rowe, who was backed out 8 years ago, is back in the picture and says she wants them, so the media wanted her. Debbie Rowe was caught outside of an eatery here in Los Angeles yesterday when the media jumped on her. Here it is.
Debbie, are you ready to fight for your kids, Debbie? Folks, are you ready to fight for your children? Are you ready to fight for your children?
Do not touch me.
Nobody touched you here.
You just did. Don't.
Are you ready to fight for your children?
Are you ready to get your butt kicked? Don't touch me.
Debbie, are you willing to take a cash settlement for the kids?
What?
Well, Leo, now you are an attorney. When it's all said and done, can Debbie Rowe challenge and win? Should she have these kids?
Yes and maybe. Yes, she's the biological mother, Fred, of these children. She has a legal right. She went back to court a couple of years ago to get visitation rights because Michael Jackson tried to cut her out of any visitation rights. Debbie Rowe versus Diana Ross, I'll take Debbie Rowe. And Michael Jackson, he's dead, but he cannot determine at this stage who's the best person to take care of these two kids. She has every right to challenge for those kids. And one other point. I'd rather have Debbie Rowe take care of those kids than those kids to be near Joe Jackson. I don't want Joe Jackson near those kids at all.
Joe Jackson has not represented himself well throughout this entire ordeal, has he?
Absolutely not, Fred. He has taken advantage of Michael Jackson's passing by trying to promote a record company. His son died, and he's trying to promote a record company. Joe Jackson he's one of the parasites within the families.
All right,
Joe
Leo,
Jackson's
very
part
much.
of the problem, but
Ron?
Debbie Rowe, who would want to have their kids raised by Debbie Rowe? I mean, the only question with Debbie Rowe is how much. A pound's not enough. We all know that. She's already been paid for these kids, so she wants a lot more because there's more money on the table now. But she's not a person who anybody should think ought to be the mother of these kids.
Wait a minute, Ron,
Jackson.
are you suggesting this is just about money with Debbie Rowe?
I don't think there's any question in anybody's mind. I don't think there's ever been.
That is amazing. Ron, how in the world can you say that? Everyone knows Joe Jackson used to beat Michael. He used to exploit these kids. Debbie Rowe has a newfound desire to take care of these kids because she doesn't want Joe Jackson near those kids. That's a legitimate reason for her to change her mind.
I agree with you on Joe Jackson, but I sure don't think that Debbie Rowe is the answer to these kids' lives. These are kids who have grown up in the strangest environment and need a really, truly wholesome, loving environment and a lot of help to get through life.
Ron,
not to be bigger freaks than Michael.
Ron, name me one thing that you can discover. You're a reporter in which Debbie Rowe has done something wrong. Her morals are wrong. She has done nothing wrong at all for you to criticize her for seeking custody of these kids.
Well, she's the birth mother. And of at least two of them, I gather, and maybe all three, but she hasn't done anything that shows me that she's fit to take care of these kids.
Oh, come on,
interest in them is what's her claim other than she's gave birth to them for money.
Ron, Leo, let's leave that. We're going to move on.